Matchup here in the semifinals of SCG Syracuse, of course presented by our friends over at Ultimate Guard and Carnox. These players doing a little bit of shuffling and viewing of deck lists, and then we will be underway. Of course, we'll try to get our eyes on the backup match between Aiden Breyer and Ed D'Amico when we can. But this Legacy metagame that we've watched here all weekend, much different than what we have seen over the years there, partner. We've covered a lot of Legacy over the years. Haven't seen really anything like this.
The most balance, I've mentioned this a couple times in the broadcast already, but the most balance that I've seen between the blue and non-blue cards that I can ever really remember. I think Modern Horizons has given a little bit of love here to land-centric strategies, Renin 6 sort of at the top of that billing, and that has helped to make decks like 4-color Loam and other non-blue strategies, I think, a little bit more popular than they were 6 months ago, a year ago, and further back.
Well, these players are going to do some more shuffling and all that jazz. And then remember, again, finals coming up after this. Crown a champion, winner's interview with Nick Miller over in the sideboard. And then we call it quits here from the on-center. Always good to come back to Syracuse. Third time here this year. Always a welcoming audience and a nice city. We'll be back again next year, I'm sure, here on the SCG Tour. But 2 weeks from now, we'll be in Philadelphia for the Throne of Eldraine release weekend here on the SCG Tour. So that should be a lot of fun, too. Brian Gottlieb, Craig Krempels, Matthias Hunt, Emma Handy will be bringing you that tournament along with Nick Miller, of course.
Good
and
squad.
The rest of the SCG Tour crew. It is a good squad.
Or here might be on a very aggressive mulligan. Like I said, game number 1, he does not have very much to defend himself with other than Chalice of the Void. And it might be worth mulliganing pretty low here if he can find a hand that can cast Chalice of the Void, especially on the first turn.
I think it's appropriate to mulligan for that card, especially if you can combine it with a Mox Diamond with the Vancouver, the London mulligan rule. I think that's the good way to go. Take another look here for these players. Now remember, and I know we haven't talked about it much here, Storm does have the ability to win on the first turn of the game. I think a lot of people forget that. There's your Mox. There's your land to discard. There's that. Sack. Here's your... Nope, it's a...
Oh, not quite.
I was not I was actually ready to say, here's your Chalice of the Void on 1. It's a Sylvan Library instead. So, for Blaise, look, it could be a turn 1, you're dead. Drew a copy of Misty Rainforest. Doesn't have to be a turn 1, you're dead. Just saying what the possibilities are.
Well, from this spot, there is no disruption in Nora's deck. So, Koehler has it. He can just pull it out, put it all on the table.
The big question is, does he have it? There's an Underground Sea, a card we have not seen a ton of this weekend. Seen a lot of Volcanic Islands and Tropical Islands, of course. Temur Delver very popular here this weekend. Seen a lot of basic lands that are snow covered given these 4-color control decks. But Underground Sea, a card that used to run roughshod all over Legacy, not so much anymore.
I would guess of the Day 2 deck list, the most popular dual land was Volcanic Island.
It wouldn't surprise me. This is a duress. And it's a wait. Well, Liliana down. Wasteland left over. Wasteland can take care of that land, so that's not so bad. Sylvan Library found a Chalice.
Yeah, I mean, or can waste Koehler off as 1 land and play Chalice. And this is a real start for Orb.
Yes, it is. There is a Misty Rainforest. Now here comes the question. And it's time to take a look. How does Blaise get out from underneath the chalice? What can he do about the problematic artifact? He is gonna sack that fetch land.
Well, you can go off in a way that doesn't involve 1-mana spells.
It's true.
In terms of removing it from the battlefield, though.
There's LED. That will resolve. Don't have to worry about Chalice with that one. And he's getting well. This is notable. All right.
Yeah, just do this. You can respond to the Cabal Therapy, sack the LED if you want to.
And he's got nothing going on then. Nothing in the graveyard.
Yeah, if you had Past in Flames, you might be able to run it that way.
Sure.
So 3 black in the pool.
Let's make it 4. And Infernal Tutor, hold priority. Sacrifice the LED. Yeah.
So this is a route to ad nauseum with a land drop made and no mana in the pool.
Correct. Because I do not think this is a route to Past in Flames, though this could be Dark Petition, but I don't think that gets you anywhere.
No, I mean, you're in the same spot. You have a card of your choice in your hand. You're just down 2 mana. Now, you can obviously get started from this spot with a variety of zeros in the deck. Your Lion's Eye Diamonds and Lotus Petals.
I mean, it's a little risky.
Well, you know, you got to be... at this point, you know, if you're compelled to search for dual land anyway because you're on Misty Rainforest and you need to get black mana, there's all sorts of draws from Aura's deck that are really big trouble, like any Wasteland or Renin 6. So once you're in that spot, you might as well just give it a shot.
17.
And he's found a couple zeros to start it up with, so I actually think he's got it rolled up.
Well, now I know
he's got it rolled
2
up.
LEDs.
Yep.
15, 14, 13, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I don't know what he's looking for.
I think he wants another Lotus Petal.
Oh, yeah. You're right, because he already played a land. 6, 5.
He's got all the mana to work with, but remember, he can't cast any of the ones, so he needs 2 mana to get started.
This actually could be a problem then. He does not have this rolled up because he already played land like you mentioned.
He needs another Lotus Petal.
Whoa.
Can he go from here? I mean, he seems to be suggesting that he can. Or he can just set up for next turn, I guess. Because he's at 5, you know, he could just sculpt the perfect 7 and then go again next turn if he wants to.
Yeah, so what's the plan here? Oh, maybe he's just going to sculpt the perfect hand and go.
Yeah, I mean, you can keep, you know, your 0 mana artifacts. You can actually just put those on the battlefield if you want to.
Sure.
You keep an Infernal Tutor.
Sure.
The next turn you have Infernal Tutor with your presumably your land and your Lotus Petal.
Mm-hmm.
And you can crack 2 LEDs in response. You'll have 6 floating plus an Infernal Tutor plus a land drop. And that's more than enough.
You should be able to win then.
There's some risks here because Aura's drawing to, you know, Wasteland maybe is a problem. Chalice on 0 and you're locked out.
Potentially, yeah.
But you're kind of giving Aura one look at it. And if he doesn't find it, then you got it all rolled up for next turn.
The other thing, too, is I'm not sure you want to play those 0 mana artifacts because you might need them for Storm Count. Maybe.
I don't think so. I mean, you have the 2 Cabal therapies in the, the 2 Cabal rituals in the graveyard. You'll have so much mana to work with.
So he's going to keep these cards, it looks like.
It's possible you might want to hold them back because the 1-cost cards you would be keeping in your hand otherwise have no value. So, yeah, you might as well be safe and be adding to the Storm Count.
All right.
Yeah, and all he's discarding here is stuff that has no value due to the Chalice.
And there are 2 copies of Past in Flames in the deck. So Orr's going to activate the Sylvan Library.
I really wish last turn that Orr had just done more to burn through his deck, just draw the top 3, because you need to find another Chalice or something. Yeah, from here I think it should not be hard for Blaise to do the whole thing.
I think this should be rather easy, yes. This should be land, Lotus Petal, both LEDs, cast Infernal Tutor, hold priority, crack both LEDs. Infernal Tutor for...
Pass in Flames.
That's 6.
2 Cabal Rituals in the graveyard gets you all the mana in the world you work with. You Infernal Tutor again.
Yeah, should be game over. I'm with you. See if Blaise knows exactly all the iterations of what his deck can do here.
He should even have enough mana to add to the Storm count with 1-cost spells if that is a requirement.
Even though they'll be countered, yeah.
And Orr's only at 15. He doesn't have to do the full 10.
So now you go get Pith. Yep, he's got red mana floating now, so it should be 3 and 3. It's a mystery what the card is. I like it. Face down.
Find out in a moment.
You don't get to know. I don't have to show you. Oh. I had no idea. Pass in Flames.
It was a mystery.
To me and you. Cabal Ritual from 0 to 5. -2 is 3, +5 is 8.
Now Storm counts up to 7.
Yes, Infernal Tutor.
You can even Infernal Tutor for Cabal Ritual, and that's net mana. And, you know, if you just are looking to fluff up the Storm count, which I don't even think is necessary with Orr at 15.
Nah, not even a little. Just show me a 10 drill. So there's an LED. Sack the LED, sure. Play another Infernal Tutor, sure. Now we're just spinning the ball on our finger, aren't we, Blaise? Jonathan looks very... Is he awake? I can't tell.
He's waiting to pounce.
Yes, there is a Tendrils. Game over. Blaise Koehler wins game number 1 here over Jonathan Orr. Storm up a game over 4-color loam. Things do get better for Jonathan Orr after sideboard, though. And we'll be heading that way right now. 3 Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, 3 Leyline of the Void. Those 6 will almost certainly come in. There's 2 Plague Engineers, 2 Swords of Plowshares, 5 One-Ofs, an Assassin's Trophy, Tireless Tracker, Bojuka Bog, Tarmogoyf, and the Rotation of Crops.
I think you're going to bring in the Crop Rotation, Tarmogoyf, Bojuka Bog, 3 copies of Leyline of the Void, and 3 Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. A little bit more pressure. Crop Rotation combined with Bojuka Bog, which cuts off Pass and Flames in some spots, and Thalia and Leyline are quite disruptive against Storm.
We'll go to the other side of things here for Blaise. He's currently up a game. Made it look pretty easy there, all things considered. 2 Veil Summer, 2 Abrupt Decay, 2 Flusterstorm, 2 Chain of Vapor, 2 Hurkyl's Recall, 2 Echoing Truth, a Xanthid Swarm and Empty the Warrens, and a Massacre.
I'm interested in the Echoing Truths and Chain of Vapors as a way to get the troublesome permanents off of the battlefield. I'm not really into Empty the Warrens in this kind of matchup because Orr doesn't really attack your hand or your resources, so it shouldn't be necessary to go off. And if Orr happens to bring in the Plague Engineers, it could be quite bad. So I would probably just bring in the 4 bounce spells and maybe the 2 Abrupt Decays, some blend of that to get cards like Leyline of the Void and Thalia and Guardian of Thraben off of the battlefield.
Well, those are the options for both of our players. Blaise currently up a game. Again, if we have time to jump to that backup match, which we imagine we will, between Aiden Breyer and Ed D'Amico, we will do so. But for now, we're going to hear from our friends over at Karnox first, because they got your back, and so do we. Save 10% at checkout when you visit karnox.com/SCG. Live like us in these sweet chairs, same as everyone in our feature match area here on the SCG Tour. And if you ever do have the opportunity to hang out with Nick Miller in the sideboard, you can sit in one of these awesome Karnox chairs as well, or buy one for yourself over at karnox.com/SCG and save 10% on checkout. Patrick can attest to just how comfy these chairs are.
I like these chairs.
Yeah.
There was a brief period of time here on the SCG Tour where the chairs were gone. Apparently they were just in transit in a different truck. They weren't available for a couple of opens. I was extremely upset. I let my feelings be known. We had the chairs back. Karnox.com/SCG. Get 10% off when you check out. Try to feel how we live for just a minute.
Trust me, he was
just
mad.
A minute of your life.
He was mad and he was being unreasonable.
Imagine what it's like go to the website, buy a chair, and then watch from home in the same chairs that we sit in while we bring you the broadcast, it's like you're the same person.
Yes, exactly that.
You're identical. It's like you're calling the matches yourself from your chair. Carnox.com.
Please stop. Please, are you done?
Then bring the ad down.
No, are you done?
You don't just leave it up there.
No, you do.
And then ask me to not talk.
We're going to transition to another ad now.
Okay, fine. Okay.
You were supposed to just chime in a little, toss it back to me, and then I say we're going to show you some words from our other sponsor, our friends over at Ultimate Guard, and then intern Rob clicks a button. You ready? Watch this. Click. All right, we're back. Patrick's all good now. We sorted out how to do a commercial. Proud of you.
Thanks.
No problem. No, you had a moment there.
No, you just let me out to dry.
Not even a little. Not even a little. Now we got players looking at their opening hands. Life's good. Uh-oh, John, where I've seen that look. Hands through hair.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to send it back, but he's gonna.
Keeping it in a hand where thinking about keeping it in a hand where the first play is a turn 2 Knight of the Reliquary.
I don't.
Typically good. I don't know. I haven't seen the hand.
No. That ain't it. That ain't it, Chief. Nick Miller's interested.
I think I'm right. I actually think I'm right. It's Knight of the Reliquary. Red and 6.
I think that's a ley line. The back end. Looks like a black card to me. I think he's wondering, is ley line enough? Storm can power through it if they were to empty some warrens, perhaps.
Or post board, Blaise has got quite a few bounce spells.
Yep, you see the ley line front and center now.
It's just a hand with nothing else going on.
I told you he'd mulligan.
Good laydown.
Discipline.
That has a hand with nothing else going on.
That's right. Use the London mulligan to your advantage, people. It's basically a free mulligans. No punishment to look at a new hand. Love that mulligan. And take a look at a new hand. See, and now he'll keep. I bet he did a little bit better. Mox Diamond. See you later, Forrest. Fetch. What we got? Roberto. Bob Maher Jr. Probably better than that ley line. We'll see.
He's drawn to a lot of cards now. Not disruptive, but
Misty Rainforest going to bring Blaise down to 19. 19 all for the moment, at least.
Remember, post board, he's got crop rotation that can find Bajuka Bog. That counts as disruption. Thalia, obviously quite good. Chalice of the Void, still good. And
basic island playing around Wasteland.
And a little bit of pressure is not bad in this sort of spot either. I mean, Orr does not clock all that fast in the games where he isn't comboing out. So getting a little pressure. It's not much, but it's something at least.
Ponder. It's going to be a shuffle. Now, he was looking at an Infernal Tuner, was Blaise, but Blaise not interested in that Infernal Tutor. Send it back for a little something new. Orr's going to reveal a Mott's Diamond.
Free.
Indeed. You are not wrong. Beatdowns. 1917 in favor of Orr now.
Going to the tank here post-combat. All right. Well, untapping with Knight is both pressure and then access to Bajuka Bog. But the shields are totally down. I do not think that Orr has any way to interact for 0 mana. Not a bad spot for Blaise to go for it if he's even in a slightly risky, non-deterministic spot. Because it gets pretty hard next turn. Neither Reliquary on tapping, plus Orr looking at 2 new cards.
I have to imagine it's a little bit more difficult. Here is, well, all right, polluted delta means that those ponders need to find action. Now, it's not impossible to go off here. Don't get it twisted, folks. That polluted delta can search for a basic swamp. Then you're safe around Wasteland that's on the battlefield and Wasteland that Knight can search for. I assume, do you have the deck list in front of you? That this Knight can search for old Bajuka B?
Yep.
Yeah. So if you're trying to do it via the graveyard there, Blaise, the Knight of the Reliquary is a graveyard hazard. There is a Taiga. This is a Chalice time. Little mistake on the shuffling there. No harm, no foul. Another Dark Confidant. All right. So now the question is, wow. Wait, Oh, he's trying to just go mega beatdowns? Okay, so he's wastelanding himself, and he's just going super beatdowns.
And no cards in hand?
Yeah, he's empty-handed. Blaise is it set. Look, if he can't kill him now.
Yeah, I mean, of course, but this seems like, I don't know, you've given Blaise a couple looks here. I just don't know if that's better than basically holding up Bajuka Bog for 1 turn and then doing all of this next turn.
Yeah, I mean, it's an aggressive line. It forces Blaise to win the game on this turn, or at least interact with what's going on this turn. And don't know if his hand has come together.
Just turn three with no disruption and multiple sculpts with a ponder. Odds are quite good that Blaise can go off from here. Maybe this is just the best that Orr could do, but like I said, if you could set up lethal in the next turn, plus you're getting 2 more looks at with Dark Confidant, I think I would have erred towards a more conservative approach. Maybe 1 Bajuka Bog's not enough to hold it up if and maybe that's too soft if Blaise ends up going with Empty the Warrens and then your Bajuka Bog doesn't do anything and you have 2 Dark Confidants now that are going to be taking down your life total.
Sure. I mean, look, it's turn 3. And Jonathan Orr has nothing against Legacy Storm. This is normally where Legacy Storm kills you. In our history of covering this deck. And watching some of the SCG Tour greats do it easier than this on turn 1 or turn 2. So, now doing it through ad nauseum, non-starter. unless he were to run unbelievably hot. There is a decay. Wow. What's next? No. Ooh. Oh, boy.
Oh, bad news.
Chalice, Knight.
It's going to fall to 1 here and then have to play against a Chalice.
Beatdowns, down to 1. Man, his hand, those ponders must have stunk. Now, what are you Chalice on?
I mean, if he's got the mana for 1, then 1.
You think so?
You want to set it on 0?
Well, that answers that question.
I mean, you know.
Her.
Uh-oh. Okay.
All right.
Well, the Mox is 2, right?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, kindly
and
leave.
Also the Mox is...
Yeah, kindly leave. Echoing...
Okay. Well, that's the full... I mean, that's the full reset. I think this is probably more than I would have preferred to sideboard in terms of interaction.
Yeah, I think he may have diluted himself a little bit
But
here.
this is not, I mean, it's not a bad time for Echoing Truth.
Yeah.
And the Urkel's Recall played there as well.
We're in hard mode right now. Found another ponder, too. Yeah, he's got a decent number of ones. There's a ponder and a brainstorm. Infernal Tutor looks like it's going to go back. He just hasn't found like an LED.
Right, just a little bottlenecked on mana. A lot of search.
Well, he can't fetch. So all he can do is pass the turn back. Reveal with Dark Confidant. Mox Diamond, LOL. Leyline of the Void, LOL. I don't even know if Or has a land.
To redeploy.
I think he may have just drawn one to redeploy the Chalice on 1. Getcha. Bounce him. Where to now?
It's a little bit risky there on Blaise's part to wait on that.
Well, he could have just killed one of them, right?
Right.
Somehow. Well, I don't know how exactly.
An abrupt decay in response, maybe.
Sure. All right, Chalice Party. I actually think he's probably just dead. Yep, just dead.
Okay.
Well, that's interesting.
Don't know what to do with that.
Well, I don't like conceding there.
Right.
Because he's not actually dead. And he's got a lot of 2-mana spells in his hand. Yep. So he could have Infernal Tutored for something to copy a card that's in his hand. I don't think he had Cabal Ritual. No. But I know he had some 1-drops in his hand. And those aren't good either. But, like, that gives him a shuffle. I think a shuffle is actually what he needed more than anything because he was Brainstorm locked at that point.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, because he cast Brainstorm last turn. So I don't like the concession because he actually wasn't dead there.
And also, who knows what Or's follow-up turn is?
You have no idea. You have no idea what Jonathan's going to do.
And Or's down to 11 from his Dark Confidants. If you can cobble together a short Tendrils,
yeah, it doesn't have
maybe he dies to just his own Confidant triggers, you know?
Yeah.
But we will never know. We'll never know. So now, Blaise, with the benefit of being on the play, I think really should expand the range of hands that Or is willing to mulligan. I think Leyline of the Void or turn 1 Chalice or Thalia is a prerequisite.
Yeah, it's tough on the draw, though.
Yeah. The draw, you got to have something on the first turn that's very good. Leyline qualifies. I can see keeping a slower hand with a Leyline.
Leyline qualifies, but you also just saw your opponent's got a bunch of different ways to interact on the way back.
Sure, but you can't. I mean, you got to hope your cards are good. That game, Koehler had tons of interaction, and it was ultimately not good enough.
Sure.
So.
Again, if we have updates or anything about our backup match, we'll let you know. I imagine it's a long one. 4-color control versus Is It Delver. Aiden Breyer versus Ed D'Amico. Can let you know that Aiden is currently up a game. We might just jump in to that one in progress. Probably going to be a little bit easier. Again, if we have the opportunity to.
Yes.
Because who knows how long this game could take to finish the match.
Could be a short one.
It could be one turn. That's entirely possible.
I have lost to Storm in the elimination rounds of an SCG Open on the first turn.
I know you have. It's tough.
Happens.
That's a thing that does occur. Well, these players are in the top 4. We can show you at least what they've locked up for sure, which is $1,000, 20 SCG points, an invite to our Season 2 Invitational at the Berglund Center in Roanoke, Virginia. SCGCon winner. It'll be here sooner than you think, coming in the middle of November. Winner of this match is going to lock up at least another 1,000, move on to the finals. And then the finalist is going to duke it out. Loser gets 2K, winner gets 5K with a little bit of a split in SCG points. Get you one step closer to qualifying for that Players' Championship at the end of the year.
Quiet weekend for our players at the top of the Season 2 standings in the yearly, though.
Totally agree.
Pretty quiet. We've become spoiled with these events with 3 or 4 of our top 8 or top 16 in the top 8. Not so much this time.
Totally agree. Jonathan Orr's going to send it back. Looks like Blaise is going to do the same thing. Not too surprising here. London Mulligan means that mulliganing for both of these decks isn't so bad. And for one deck in Jonathan Orr's, you're looking for particular hate cards if you can play as soon as possible. For Blaise's deck, you're looking for a specific combination of cards to win as soon as possible.
Yeah, it still makes me a little bit nervous, the volume of interaction that Blaise had there in Game 2, because at some point it's coming at the expense of your cantrips or your mana or both. And his hand just, he made some land drops, he drew some cards, but all he had was reaction, and that wasn't good enough. I think on the play especially, your deck should be a little bit more focused. I'm not saying cut all that stuff altogether. I think you want a little bit of it, but I think you want to be a lot more geared toward just optimizing for kills inside of the first 3 turns with, one card to bounce a ley line or, what have you.
Makes sense to me. All right, gents. Let's lay them out. Let's look at 7 of them again. See if you can find. This looks a little bit better here for Blaise.
See Dark Ritual, Ponder, Lion's Eye Diamond, Underground Sea, and some cards.
That's a good place to start.
That looks like a keeper to me.
He's already putting a card down. I think I see an Abrupt Decay too. Again, a little bit of the trouble here, of course, is you don't want to dilute your deck too much with ways to react. You definitely want ways to interact, as we saw in the second game, but you don't want too many. Leyline of the Void is going to get this party started. This is a Ponder. Is Blaise able to win without his graveyard? It's certainly possible with Storm.
The ways to do it involve bouncing the Leyline, empty the Warrens for a bunch, or somehow cobbling together an ad nauseum large enough to just brute force through a lethal tendrils in one shot. So a few ways to do it, but Pass in Flames is easy mode for this deck, and for the time being, that's not an option.
Nice. Bajuka Pog, taste it. Pluto Delta, pass it back. What do we have here? Is it Dahlia? Is it Chalice of the Void? Is it Sylvan Library? Is it Dark Confidant? Is it none of the above? It's clearly something. It's Dark Confidant.
I mean, you know, if you're in Blaise's spot here, you kind of got to go into the best of your ability. Yeah, I know he's got a lot of mana to work with here.
Does he have a payoff, though, is the question. And hey, I'm with you. One thing I really like in this spot, I think this is actually kind of important. I'm really into short tendrils here.
Yeah.
And have Dark Confidant do the rest of the work for me, potentially.
Yep, that's a way to do it.
I'm really, really into that line.
Yeah, I think that you don't have to have the whole thing rolled up already to justify going for it. Especially because Aura's deck, when he gets tapped out, there's no interaction.
Yep.
There's no counter spells, no surgical extraction, nothing. So you know, whatever you can do here, nothing is going to get broken up, and you don't need to do the whole thing. You can knock Aura down to 2 or 4, boost yourself up to the 30s, and expect Dark Confidant to do a lot of the work for you.
All right, Dark Ritual. Lines of Diamond, spell 2. Ad nauseum, we're going to hold priority. All right, away we go.
It's a fine base to go off from.
Absolutely.
No land drop, but some mana floating, no Chalice of the Void in play, so you can cast everything. Not that hard. At 19, this is a good spot.
This is a good spot to make a move. 3 black floating. You've already played your land. You've got Lotus Petals aplenty. Oh, 15, 14, 13, 11, 10, 9, 7, still 7, 6.
I mean, this just looks like
5, 4.
Got to stop here because Passing Flames can kill you. Now,
most likely.
If you have 3 black in your pool, the Lotus Petal is spell 4. You can cast a cantrip that's spell 5.
Dark Ritual spell. There's a Dark Ritual in there, right? Yeah, Dark Ritual spell 6. You can tendrils for 14. Potentially. I mean, maybe potentially more than that, depending on what you cantrip into. I don't think you have to stop. I think you're incentivized to stop.
You're at a spot here where you can get killed by reveal. So you got to see, you know, what's the bird in the hand worth here?
There we go.
Okay,
Dead.
All right, now you're dead. Now you're dead.
Should be dead. Remember, no graveyard. So we should get to go Lotus Petal
and
cantrip. Lotus Petal cantrip, Dark Ritual, LED. Lotus Petal cantrip, Dark Ritual, LED. That's 4 more spells. Tendrils is a 5th spell. So I can dome you for. I can put you to 4.
I think you can probably do better than that. So Lotus Petal spell 4.
I can Thoughtseize you too.
Yeah. Lion's Eye Diamond spell 5.
Yeah.
Cantrip, if you want it, is spell 6.
All right. Well, here's spell 4.
I don't know if you have a path to lethal necessarily, but with the rituals, you can. I don't know. You can.
It's awfully close, right?
Right. How can you be off by much?
Yep. I think mine. Did he find an Infernal Tutor? There may have been a minor punt. I think you were supposed to Infernal Tutor for a Dark Ritual. That keeps you neutral, but it's 2 spells.
Yeah.
Well, I found a Dark Ritual. Okay, now it's got to be over.
Yeah, I mean, spell at 7 spells now. Dark Ritual is 8. Infernal Tutor to spin tires is right.
That's spell 8. Dureshu tendrils you. Go home. That should do it.
Yeah, you can just cast.
I even like leading with Duresh just in case something weird's going on that you're not sure about.
There we go.
How about that? Let's see what you did have.
Some creatures.
Ooh, a Tarmogoyf strategy.
Tarmogoyf.
See ya. Blaise Koehler is going to win this match over Jonathan Orr, 2-1. Found a good time to make his move with ad nauseum, and that's going to get it done. Storm on to the